Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory here with Will and Tad. We are back after a week off due to my sickness, and I'm just glad to be back in action talking football. Just ready for an exciting week, and today I recap the AFC Playoff Picture. 10 weeks into the season. Atop the conference, we have the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs with their 9-0 record, first place in the AFC West. Second place, we have the Buffalo Bills leading the AFC East fairly comfortably. They're 8-2. The three seed, some people might be somewhat surprised to see the Pittsburgh Steelers here. But if you know how Mike Tomlin coaches, and if you know how he can build a team and manage both of the quarterbacks he has, you might not be too surprised to see them here at 7-2. Um, the favorites in the AFC South, the Houston Texans, they're the 4 seed, six and
Tad,
four.
Tad, real quick. You just mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers. You just mentioned their 7-2 record. You just mentioned their quarterbacks. With that, Tad, really quick, I would just like to humbly, genuinely, and sincerely ask you, yes, where would you rank Russell Wilson amongst the starting quarterbacks, first of all, in the AFC, overall NFL?
I mean, in both cases, I'd say he's a fairly average quarterback at this stage of his career. In his prime, he was obviously a lot higher, but at this stage, he's fairly average in both rankings. But again,
A seasoned vet, if nothing else.
he is a quarterback that can raise the profile of a Mike Tomlin coach team. I mean, Mike Tomlin, we've mentioned this throughout the playoffs before, but throughout the podcast before, but Mike Tomlin hasn't had a quarterback as good as Russell Wilson since the Ben Roethlisberger era. So I think you're seeing that in the results, and Pittsburgh could be a really interesting team moving forward. And they're going to need to continue to play well because the fifth place team in the playoff chase is the Baltimore Ravens with their 7-3 record, a half game behind Pittsburgh in the division. So they're the top wild card at the moment, and we'll see how long that lasts. Because this Thursday night we see Baltimore and Pittsburgh go head to head. So whoever wins that game will be first place in the division. After the Baltimore Ravens, we have the 6 seed, the Los Angeles Chargers, with their 6-3 record. Phenomenal debut season so far for Harbaugh over in LA. And then the final playoff team is your Denver Broncos, Will, with a 5-5 record.
Yeah, you would have liked to have seen that been 6-4, and it was very close to that. And
Yeah.
that one-seeded team being 9-8-1, one blocked field goal away from a literal change in the AFC playoff picture. A blocked field goal had kept the current implications of what the AFC playoff picture currently is.
That it did would have potentially tightened things up in the AFC West a little bit. But yeah, sometimes that's just how it goes in the NFL. It's a game of inches, is what they all say, and it proved true here. But yeah. With that being said, I mean, this is a very interesting playoff picture right now, and
but nonetheless,
yeah.
The Broncos. Listen, I mean, yeah, 5-5. I mean, you got the Colts, Bengals. Okay, we know what's going on with the Colts. Anthony Richardson, it's not working out. Bengals, their defense, this and that. The Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa got hurt, and I feel like that really shot them. I mean,
A big win Monday night for the Dolphins if they want to try to get back into the race.
I mean, they're still in the hunt. They're still in the hunt. They are in the hunt team, but they need to.
It's not over for them.
Winning. But I mean, the Bengals are still in the hunt, even. And I
For
mean, they got
sure.
a huge game. They got a huge game against Baltimore. So
Yeah, they lost that game against Baltimore last Thursday. So yeah, they've a tough one there. They lose two very close games to the Ravens, and then my question is, can they sort of now they'll get teams that maybe not quite to the level of Baltimore. Can they do better against a team like the Chargers, who they play
but
for Sunday Night Football?
but talking about the Broncos, I mean,
Yeah,
an intriguing team, 5-5. You know, they've had very flashy moments. They've had really good moments, but they've also had moments like against the Ravens, 41-10. But all in all, I mean, the defensive line is a top five
mm-hmm.
defensive line unit. The defense is probably a top five unit in the AFC, if not top 10. Definitely a top half defense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And Bo Nix was the offensive rookie of the month last month, Tad. And I would certainly say Bo Nix is a top five starting rookie quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, yeah, he's done solid. He's shown growth, and I mean, he honestly I mean, obviously it didn't end the way you would have hoped, but
But
he
that was probably the best game of his
played
career, Tad. He
very
probably went out and
well
played the best game of his career against
against
Kansas
the
City.
Chiefs. He's played well throughout the season. I think Bo Nix is showing that he does have some potential. Some people doubt his potential, but I do think he has some potential.
I just think he needs time to grow and develop. I think
Yeah,
because the reason it didn't work out with Russell Wilson is because Sean Payton wanted a quarterback he could really mold. And it's kind of like the old saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But with a Bo
yeah,
Nix and a Sean Payton, I mean, that's a quarterback you can mold. That's a quarterback you can grow. That's a quarterback you can develop and shape.
for
And I
sure.
mean, I think it just kind of works out perfectly in a Sean Payton system. I mean,
It certainly could.
regardless of personal opinions of him as a person and all that, and the
Mhm.
past issues and whatnot. But currently, like if we're talking about him as a football coach purely, then I mean, Bo Nix fits in well to a Sean Payton system from what we know.
Yeah, that he certainly could. He's definitely showing that he could have something to prove. I think that Bo Nix is a very interesting prospect, and we'll see if they make the playoffs. It's going to be an interesting chase through the end of the year. There's a lot of teams like right on the cusp of the playoffs in the AFC, so we will see just where they stay if they stay in that picture. But yeah, it's an interesting playoff picture. Like I said, I'm really interested to see what happens in the AFC North between Baltimore, Pittsburgh, even if Cincinnati can get back into the picture. But
Yeah.
mainly like this game between Mike Tomlin and Lamar Jackson, just seeing the defensive alignment and what Mike Tomlin does to try to stop Lamar Jackson. Nobody stopped Lamar Jackson pretty much all season. So I'm interested to see how Mike Tomlin goes about that challenge and what Lamar does there.
Um. Yeah, I'm very interested to see that as well. AFC North is still very much up for grabs.
For sure.
You got teams like I mean, let's talk about the LA Chargers for a second, Tad. The Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, now they're a team in our preseason with our preseason research that we predicted would probably be the worst team in the AFC. Here they are, 6-3. They have a prolific defense. Justin Herbert looking great. I mean, Jim Harbaugh, you called it in the preseason, just wins wherever he goes.
Yeah, yeah, it's been like I said, it's been an impressive debut so far for Harbaugh in LA. So we'll see just how far that goes. Just
And yes, where would you
interesting.
rank Justin Herbert amongst the starting quarterbacks in the AFC?
I'd probably put him around like 6 or 7. I mean, he's some people think he's in the top tier. I don't quite think he's in the top tier. I think
If we're
you
talking
got
the 16 starting quarterbacks in the AFC.
yeah. I think you got Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar. I think those guys are clearly ahead of him. And then you've got some other quarterbacks.
Stroud, even.
CJ Stroud is a person that I would put in the same tier as Justin Herbert, I think. But I would probably put Stroud above Herbert at this point within the same tier. But a lot of that is just Stroud's having a weird year. He's not playing quite at the same level as his outstanding rookie season, but I do still think I'd put him above Herbert. And then it's interesting to see what you think of a guy like Tua, who's been injured all year. So that's an interesting ranking there, but that I'd probably put them around that spot.
Like it. Yeah, it also, and I guess you could say the biggest disappointment, Tad, that we expected in the preseason to be a very much a very potential playoff team. I mean, we anticipated it, we talked about it, and everything. Yeah, the New York Jets,
Yeah, I
3 and
mean,
7.
yeah. What can you say there?
A
They've
bigger
been a
disaster than last season. Had.
yeah. It's been a total embarrassment. I mean, it's hard to be I mean, you fire your coach. Your defense gets worse seemingly every week. I mean, the Jets had one of the best defenses in the league last year, and now they just it looks to me like they just don't have the same desire to tackle as they once did. Their coverage isn't as crisp, but their tackling is not what it used to be. They just need some leadership there. They need somebody to just put their foot down and say enough. We're going to be a serious football team. Let's do it. They need somebody to show up and be that guy.
Well, they thought it would be Aaron Rodgers, but
Hmm.
yes, not.
I'm thinking more like specifically on the defense, like because the defense has just gone from a top unit to like a unit that you just can't trust to show up like you once did.
Yeah, like they don't have a guy like. Well, you thought that guy was going to be like a Sauce Gardner or a Jordan
Yeah.
Whitehead, but
Hmm.
no.
Yeah, it's been a really disappointing year for the Jets all around. Like I don't have any positives to take away from this team right now. We'll see.
Yeah, um, for sure. So, yeah, the other teams that are probably for sure out: Patriots, Browns, Titans, Raiders, and Jags.
Yeah,
All
kind of the
rebuilding AFC teams.
yeah. I'd say none of those teams were really expecting to be all that good. Maybe Cleveland, I don't know, but those are teams that they all were expected to be fairly low tier teams. So we'll see. They're kind of where we expected.
For sure. Well, there you have it, the AFC playoff picture. I don't have any other final thoughts or takes unless you do.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and follow the Gridiron Glory as we continue to make takes throughout the NFL season. Thanks for watching.